Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Curtis's Podcast Network and this AFC South show number 175 as we react to Week 11. I'm the host of the channel. You can find me as well on That Real Texas Team podcast, where we talk nothing but Texans. With me, as always, my resident co-hosts, in your top right, Isaiah, a.k.a. Duval's Finest, a.k.a. the Glitter Kitty Conquistador. Wow, easy for me to say. And the host of Third and Teal. How's it going down there in Duval?
I don't know because I'm not there. Pretty bad though, if I had to guess. Doug Peterson has not been fired yet, so get your pitchforks and torches out. But Balky hasn't been fired, so get your pitchforks and torches out. No, just a lot of pitchforks and a lot of torches. Nothing too crazy. Back to you, Curtis. No,
will there be any clowns? I'm sensing.
I cannot confirm, but I have seen at least 2 Facebook posts that have mentioned filling the stadium with clowns. So I can assume we might, in the words of the late great Pat McAfee, we might see some clowns out there in Jacksonville. Some clowns. Yeah.
The late great. Oh God. Down here at the bottom, that Pat McAfee is a great segue here. We got Jeff, aka Big Steck, host of Unstabled. If you need Colts information, this is the guy to go to. Jeff, how's it going? Coming off of the first win in 3 games?
They lost 3 straight, so it was, I guess, the first in 4 games.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
sapping a 3-game losing streak. I'm here for it. Right on.
Victory Monday. Happy we did a live yesterday. Went pretty well. Quite a bit of interacting. It was a fun episode. It was a good one. So make sure you head over there, check it out. Like, share, and subscribe. We're still stuck at 69. I mean, it's funny, but get us to 169. Help us out.
Please, Colts fans.
The next level of 69, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Just keep increasing to the next.
We have a Titans podcast, I swear to you, and there are people on it, and sometimes they're here, but lately they have not been. You can catch Titans takeaways with Austin and Brian. 2 episodes a week, preview, reaction. If you're a Titans fan, go like, subscribe. We will be talking the Titans for them this evening, as we have the last several evenings. So, without any further ado, like, subscribe, notification bell here on this. Let's get into this, gentlemen. The most embarrassing loss we'll save for second because
the Titans aren't here.
Because the Titans
losers.
So, Tennessee
you had your chance.
You did. You had your fucking opportunities, and they squandered them.
Sounds like Tennessee, yeah.
Yeah. Losing to the Minnesota Vikings 23-13. It seems like the answer to whatever the Vikings' problem is found. Not in the sense of like the Vikings are hitting a stride, but they're kind of sputtering lately. I'm pretty sure we all had the Vikings really dotting up the Titans, and that just did not happen. I mean, it was a double-digit win, though. I didn't really feel like the Titans really had a lot of opportunity to win this, but, crazier things have happened, I guess. Tony Pollard was shut down for what I can imagine is only like the second time this season. And Will Levis didn't necessarily make a bunch of boneheaded plays, but he also wasn't getting a lot of help from everyone else around him. So 23-13. What do you guys got to say about the Titans?
They suck.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't them.
I had heard a rumor.
It never was. In fact, that's what I hear, at least from on the streets.
On the streets.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they lost this game because of Will Levis. Obviously, they didn't win it because of him either. But yeah, they had no run game to speak of, and that's pretty much the AFC South's bread and butter. And when they can't get that going, it's almost always not going to be a win.
Yeah. I'm just noticing that the Titans have scored 17 points 5 times this year.
Almost. So close.
Oh no, I'm sorry, 4 times. I got the overtime win over the Patriots. Scores flopped. That's my bad. But yeah, a lot of 17s for them. The Tannehill curse lives on.
Woo!
This Titans team is 100% a defensive team, and no defense can be on the field as long as they have been every single game and be expected to put up, respectable dubs. Like it's just not going to happen for the Titans like that. You're going to have to at some point have complimentary football, and the Titans just are allergic to that. It seems so.
Yeah.
That'll busting out the was that Evan Williams? Oh.
Next week I might have some dry cock on the show. I don't know.
Mm.
You ever had dry cock before, Jeff?
Can't say that I have.
It does not go down smooth. I can tell you that much.
I'm sure it doesn't.
Weird for a wine, but
yeah. But look, looking at the Titans' remaining schedule here,
just reminded me of 3 penis wine.
Oh, the league. At Houston, at Washington, home against Jacksonville, home against Cincinnati, at Indy, at Jacksonville, home against Houston. The Titans may not win another game this season.
Don't worry, Titans fans. We want the first overall pick. You guys got 2 more wins on the season. Don't even worry about it.
I've heard rumor that one Mr. Trevor Lawrence may be coming back.
They are trying to get him to come back after the bye week, yes. Do I want that to happen? Absolutely fucking not. But whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, they really should probably shut him down. There's really no point in it.
The only reason they're not is like Peterson is still there and he fucking hates him.
Yeah.
Basically what I'm hearing from inside the building, from people who know people inside the building, allegedly inside of the building, is that apparently they're paying Peterson to finish the season, so he's finishing the fucking season. That's what I'm hearing. But I am also hearing from people inside the building who know people inside the building who know people who happen to be inside of a building that know people inside the building. That there is a building and there are people inside of it. And they know that. But no, apparently there could potentially be some people starting to get fired soon. The wheels are turning on that, but I can't tell you who, and I doubt it's Doug Peterson, unfortunately. And he basically came out and said he doesn't believe in firing coordinators in the middle of the season. Well, yeah, because he's fucking retarded. That's why. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Well, I think it's a good segue as any, but let's go ahead and hit the what did we have for predictions last week? There we go.
I don't remember.
For predictions, we had for the Titans-Vikings game, I said 31-17 Minnesota. Jeff said 35-17, and Trevor echoed that same score. So we were, a little off, a little touch shy, but whatever.
Oh, yeah. Was that on the preview?
No, Trevor was.
That's right.
Yeah. We missed your beard.
Okay. It's still here. It's still bearding it up.
It's still bearding it up, which is nice and good to see. But let's talk about your Jaguars game, the Lions game, I should say. Yeah, Mac
So my
Jones,
score prediction was wrong.
garbage.
I predicted there would be a game played, but a game being played implies that 2 teams showed up and played. 2 teams, in fact, showed up, but only one of them played, and they had a lot of fun. It was not a good time. What was my score prediction?
Yeah.
Trevor's score prediction was 28-14.
God damn it. I keep forgetting I wasn't on the show because it would have been way lower than that. Okay. Well, first of all, bright spots. Trayvon Walker, he's a monster. Got held by 2 different dudes on a play. Jahmyr Gibbs got around the edge, and he still made the tackle close to the sideline, like up the field about 6-7 yards. Fucking Cam Little, he's the truth. Nailed a 59-yarder that would have been good from 65. He tied the Jaguars' longest field goal in their history at 59 yards. Shout out Josh Scobie. And I'm sure there was someone else that played decent. Honestly, the O-line didn't play that bad, according to PFF especially. You know how much you trust them. You never know with people. But apparently the O-line had a great game. There's only like 2 pressures allowed. Mac Jones sucks dick. If you were wondering or had any doubts, he sucks. BTJ got a couple catches for 85 yards. BTJ is a bright spot. A great bright spot was that BTJ was open all the time. But, when you have Max McCorkle fucking Dorkle Jones back there throwing a football, the ball doesn't get there. And, did either of you actually watch the game?
I saw a lot of the Lions on Red Zone, and that was
yeah. So very important that that's getting to my point. But no, so I don't understand why when we have Trevor Lawrence in the game, it's nothing but like quick short routes, and we dial up like one deep route per game. They had one drive where Mac Jones threw the ball more than 20 yards down the field, 3 plays in a row. And we had all these complex schemes and different things. It's Mac fucking Jones. Why are we running complex shit with him? He couldn't even run Bill Belichick's mundane ass offense up there in fucking Patriotville. You think he can run a fucking complex scheme? No. Like, it makes no sense. Why are we pulling out all the stops when we got McCorking it down the field? And not when we have fucking Trevor Lawrence out there. I don't get it. Doug Peterson decided he wanted to take over play calling duties, allegedly, while Mac Jones was starting, but he didn't want to do it for Trevor. I don't fucking know what to think of this team. I know I want people fired, and it hasn't happened yet. I posted a meme on a Dalton, aka UCF Jaguars page. It was like, come on, Jags, do something, because Joe Brady got fired. That's the GM for the Giants, not Giants, the Jets, right? Joe Brady. Yeah. And then I just posted a thing that's like, oh, sorry, Jags, I had a bad day, and it says not bad enough. Let's make it worse, because they're just gonna sit there and do fucking nothing. But yeah, no, just, I feel like, Rob Schneider in The Waterboy, like, oh no, we suck again. Like, we're, it's bad season. I would have absolutely guessed like probably like 14 to like 56. I'm glad it wasn't that bad, but what it was worse, wasn't it? It was 59. Was it 59 to 6?
This game was 52 to 6.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, no, terrible game. Everybody out there on defense looked like they weren't trying, besides Ventrell Miller and fucking Foye and Trayvon. That's the one. I'm just tired of it. I'm ready for the season to be over. I did put on our episode. I was like, hey guys, like, what do you guys want to hear? Draft talk next, like from now on? Let us know below if you'd like us to talk about the draft.
Nothing but mock drafts from here.
Nothing but mock drafts from here on out. I would be surprised if we didn't come out of the bye week without another loss somehow. It's rough down here in Kittyville.
The other score predictions. So Trevor had 28-14. Jeff said 31-13 Detroit. I was the optimist. I said 27-24 Detroit. Thought it was going to be a close game.
Wow.
I saw this 14-point spread, which was larger than the Titans spread was, and I'm like, how?
Don't worry, the Lions spread us much wider than that.
Nice. Yeah, look, this is just not a good time to be on the Jaguars football team. Dysfunction is probably the easiest and simplest word to use to describe what's happening on most game days for those wearing the teal. It's crazy that like Doug Peterson, in the span of probably about 18 months, went from, all right, well, if he can, just get rid of Press Taylor, I think we'll be all right, to get rid of every single person that has ever known Doug Peterson. I don't even want to look at him or their families. The amount of like just full about face on Doug Peterson is crazy. It's warranted. I'm not saying it's not. It's just not what I had expected coming into the season.
What's up, Brian C? How you doing, brother? Yeah, no, fuck Doug Peterson. Fuck Press Taylor. Fuck Ryan Nielsen. Who else? Who? Every coach on the team. Fuck them. Except for what's his name? Damn, our quarterback's coach. He's a cool dude. What the hell? The quarterback coach. He's cool. Mike McCoy. He can stick around a little longer. Who else? Fuck Trent Baalke. Fuck everybody that works for him. Fuck everybody else. Fuck Eric Armstead. A lot of fucks to be going around.
Fair enough.
All
Okay.
Oh yeah, fuck Ronald Darby.
Yeah.
Break your fucking leg, and I mean that in the serious sense.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is.
Well,
It has taken us 16 minutes, and we've officially hit a new dark point. I told Steck the Colts would win, says DeGremlin.
nah, he did. He did.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good job, DeGremlin. You know football.
This guy knows his shit. All right, well, let's go ahead and Jeff, do you have any?
Yeah. I on the preview episode, I said that this is a game when, I think the score will come down to when Detroit decides that they want to stop scoring, and the answer was never. So, yeah, that's kind of why I went to that 31-13. That maybe they lay off the gas a little bit. They didn't. It kind of reminded me. I remember back in 2017, Metallica was doing a big stadium tour, and I had tickets to see them at NRG. Avenged Sevenfold was one of the opening bands, and for some reason they didn't have the speakers on. So we're sitting kind of up in the nosebleeds and can't hear what they're playing except bass. And it was like, wow, someone down there looks like they're having fun. It kind of reminded me of that. Like the Lions are having fun, but the Jaguars not so much. Jacksonville couldn't do shit in this game. Like Isaiah said, couple of good defensive plays, but yeah, ETN nothing. Mac Jones looked like shit. Just kind of an all around disaster, and it's got me nervous for next week.
So Isaiah, before we full blown pivot to Indianapolis and the Jets, I'd like to ask you, what is the best case scenario that comes out of you guys getting the first round or the first overall draft pick? What are you guys using it on?
Best case scenario, we trade back.
Okay.
And we trade back. We take Kelvin Banks and potentially we draft an entirely new offensive line. That'd be the best case scenario.
Well, I have some bad news for you. So outside of apparently the top tackle at each left and right, outside of those guys, apparently all the other people who are currently playing tackle and eligible for the draft next year are probably going to be better at playing guard than they are tackle.
That's fine. We need new guards. Kelvin Banks is a NFL tackle. He's a left tackle. That's what we need for the most. Walker Little's been playing decent, but he still gets pushed back in Trevor and McCorkle's face a decent bit because he's not as strong as he needs to be. I don't care. I draft them all. Draft every lineman in the draft. Don't draft a single skill position. And just put them out there to catch the ball. They probably have better hands than our fucking receivers. Hey, what's up,
Mr. Talking House? The Gremlin says, "No, I picked against them in the family picks. We do." And then he says, "We pick who we think we wins every week. Whoever has the best record at the end gets to pick what we do for a day."
Nice.
I hope you win, and I hope anal or something.
Depends on who's in the league, but
right. So look, let's go ahead and pivot to this Colts Jets game.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson coming off of being benched gets a dub. Jeff, I guess hold on before I just let you full blownsies. Trevor said 21-17 Jets. You said 24-20 Jets. I had 23-17 Jets. So carry on.
I certainly wasn't the only one to pick
Curtis.
the Jets to.
You're awful.
Not with my kids.
I certainly wasn't the only one that thought the Jets were going to win. I think the Colts were 4-point underdogs in it. So, And it's not because the Jets are extremely explosive offensively. They came in, I think, ranked 7th on defense, so their defense isn't terrible, which is why which is
that was nice. Sounded like
which
a
is
lion.
why they which is why the firing of Salah was very surprising. You know, he's a defensive coach, and their defense wasn't the problem. It was definitely their offense. But, you know, this game, you know, wasn't without their issues. On Unstable, I talked about some of the negatives. There was still some decision-making that Anthony Richardson still, you know, he missed on a pretty easy, wide-open, like 3-yard pass. He can throw it a mile, but has issues with 3 yards. And then there was a play where he was getting sacked and just kind of flicked it up to Trey Sermon, and luckily Sermon was paying attention and only gained like a yard or two. Would have liked to just see him take the sack. Like you could see that play all over. It was almost that Will Levis fuck up type of play. Like, dude, just take the sack. Sometimes a play is just done. I think he only got sacked twice in the game, but yardage wise, I think it was 30-something yards on one sack. He ran backwards for almost 16 yards, and yeah, and almost knocked him out of field goal range. Luckily, Matt Gay was having a nice day, so it didn't affect that. But no, he looked good in this game. He had a 56-yarder. It's been a while since I can remember he made a 50+, so that was nice. Defensively to start the game, the Colts were.
You're saying on the deep ones he has trouble getting it up. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So the defense held Aaron Rodgers, that not so great Jets offense. I mean, I think they have some great weapons. Devontae Adams, obviously a little past his prime. Aaron Rodgers, way past his prime. But Breece Hall is a really good running back. Their line isn't very good, but they held him to 3 drives, all 3 and outs, 9 plays, 9 yards. So the defense started off really well. But once again, you know, in the first quarter, the Colts only put up 3 points. So their offense wasn't really helping them out to start the game when the defense was playing really good. And Anthony Richardson did have a fumble, but I don't blame him so much for that. It was just kind of a guy that went unblocked and nailed the shit out of him and just popped the ball out. So I'm not too upset with AR on that fumble. They started 3 rookies. I can't remember who the right guard. I can't remember his name, but I know they started Bordolini and Goncalves at left tackle because Ryman can't remember if it's knee or a concussion. It's something with him, but he didn't go. So it was 3 rookies starting, and given that, I think they did a pretty good job. Jonathan Taylor was bottled up for most of the game, which is why it was so surprising to see Anthony Richardson have the day passing that he had. Typically, these young quarterbacks, they need help in the run game. Didn't really happen, but he had this is kind of what every Colts fan been looking for this game that he had against a good defense. 66% completion percent, 270 yards, a touchdown. He had another 2 with his legs, and those were some angry runs, man. Both they looked almost identical, lowered the shoulder and just barreled over a Jets defender. I can't ask for more. I'll take 3 touchdowns and 270 from.
You can ask for a lot less.
I could ask. I'd like to not see the contact, but I'll take it, man. They rushed the ball 34 times. That's what I've been asking for.
Bro is speed running Joe Flacco starting again right now.
No, geez. I hope not. Josh Downs, once again, had a nice day. He had a great rapport with Anthony Richardson. Alec Pierce had a good day. Adonai Mitchell only had a catch, but, man, it was a really good pass and catch. And, yeah, he almost took it for the touchdown. It was like half a yard shy. So, tight ends got involved. Like, pretty much the offense, I mean, looked really good against a pretty stout defense. So, it was back and forth, four lead changes in this game. So, it was a fun one to watch. Unfortunately, I had to watch it on my phone because we don't get to watch any Colts games in Houston. Kwity Paye had himself a nice day defensively, 2 sacks. Latu got in there finally for another one. It's nice to see him finally making a splash in the stat column. He's made impacts, but it hasn't shown up in the stat column. But it's nice to see him get in there. They had a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and he got off a pass that I was surprised. It looked like it was about to be a fumble. Anthony Richardson had a hell of a throw to Downs. He was on it. It was not a deep pass like Andrew Luck where he was going down to his knees and chucked into the back of the end zone. It wasn't quite as good as that one, but he was getting hit and still managed to get it out to down. So it was a really nice play to see from him. Decision making from him was a lot better. Still some mistakes. He's 22, so that's going to happen. But it was a promising game. Like, I'm not saying they're going to run off to the Super Bowl now, but it was just a good game. It's just what we've been hoping to see from him, and we finally got a solid performance from him. So there's some reason for optimism now. I mean, it wasn't against a great team, but I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I chose the Jets to win, but I thought it'd be a pretty close game. It'd be, pretty slim margin of error for both teams. The Jets would have to play pretty clean. And when it came down to it, the Colts had the bigger set of balls at the end of the day. Anthony Richardson said, Aaron Rodgers can't run anymore. I'm going to run enough for him and just run over and through people to just.
We ask ourselves the same thing, to Gremlin. Put that one up there for us real quick, Curtis.
They don't.
Do the Titans even have a fan? I never see one on here. They do. I swear to you, they
allegedly.
But
there's one of them.
Yeah, they float around. It's hard to nail them down. It's kind of like when that Supreme Court justice was asked to describe what pornography is. He's like, I can't describe it, but I know it when I see it. That's a Titans fan trying to get him on here. But they do exist. I live in Nashville. They are around here. They're just. Why would you want to talk about like the Jaguars?
Disaster.
At least can build to something. The Titans haven't even begun to rebuild from the rebuild that wasn't this past season. So they're probably just hating life. But back to the Colts.
I did forget to mention that last drive, Colts down, 22-27. That was a really good drive. I mean, there was a blown coverage on, I think, the Alec Pierce play. But, I mean, this was a good drive. And it was his first fourth quarter comeback. It was his first game-winning drive. I mean, this had a lot of firsts for him. So hopefully this is something that he could build on. That last drive was a lot of fun to watch. Like, I hadn't pretty much when the Colts get down this last year and a half or so, I just haven't really had much faith that they can, close a fucking game. And they finally did it. It's just kind of that monkey off the back kind of thing.
Yeah. Isaiah?
I really only got to catch the end of it on like Red Zone. I don't know. This one for me, it was a good win for the Colts for sure. Was it a good game? Absolutely not.
It absolutely was. You're just saying that to piss me off. It was a good
game. I just think whenever the last two drives of a game, the defense just absolutely doesn't guard two of your best receivers. I mean, it's whatever. No, I mean, Anthony Richardson definitely looked better. I think even with the Jets breakdown, we've seen in the past, whenever other teams of defenses have broken down, he has not been able to connect on the throws, at least not more than, 40-something% of the time. It was definitely a good game for him. The question is, will he build off of it? It's definitely a good building block, but I'm going to have to see more out of him before I'm really convinced. But all around a good win for the Colts.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to feel that a loss here was kind of puts the Colts in the same boat as the Jags and Titans. I mean, they lose here. You would assume with the loss here that they'll lose to the Lions next week. They'd fall to 4-8, and it's the best they can do at that point is win out and go 9. And it's just highly unrealistic that the season turns into a postseason. So hopefully they can turn this into something and build on it.
Well, if they don't go to the postseason, what is a good benchmark for you to say that growth has happened?
It's hard. I just want to see Anthony Richardson string some good games together. That's all I really want to see. Like that's a position that we want to kind of put in the rearview mirror. Okay, we've got the guy that we're going to ride at least for another several years, and we can start focusing on pieces around the rest of the team, especially the secondary. So I don't want to see any more 40% completion days. If he can keep it in that 50 to 60% and limit the mistakes, I think and stay healthy the rest of the year, I think are the three biggest things that would mark this season as a success. If he reverts back to that 40%, starts getting hurt again, we're talking about a whole dip. Like we're basically going back to a whole nother rebuild. Because if it's determined he isn't the guy, well, now we need a quarterback. Our secondary's trash. Our veterans are getting older. Some of our best players. You're probably looking at a new GM and coaching staff.
I know a team that might be willing to come off of the first overall pick for the right price. Get you a Shedeur Sanders.
Shedeur.
Shedeur Sanders.
I actually hear that it's more likely that Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders will end up on the same NFL team.
Oh, boy.
I doubt it.
Oh, boy.
Unless Deion's like a position coach or a defensive coordinator, he's not getting a head coaching gig in the NFL.
So he'll go.
Won't make another bad decision.
Who?
The Jets?
Who? The Jets? Is that what you're? No, what'd you say, Curtis?
I said that the Jets. You're going to sit here and tell me the Jets aren't make another bad decision?
I mean, they didn't make a bad decision. Robert Saleh's a great coach. They sold the farm for an old fuck and got rid of the GM because he made a terrible decision.
Yeah. So
Robert Saleh
there's
was
a chance.
Problem. We agree there. Moving on from him was the bad decision.
Yeah.
They're going.
Yeah, but that's because you traded the farm and re-signed a quarterback that's 36 years old and sucks, and you're letting him run the franchise. But that was Joe Brady. Joe Brady's gone now. So depending on who they bring in, whatever GM, if they bring in the GM first.
Joe Brady is the GM for the Giants, not the Jets.
I thought the Jets got rid of theirs too.
The Jets got rid of theirs, but his name's not Joe Brady.
Oh, who's the one for the Jets?
I feel like his name's Thomas something.
Did they actually get rid of him?
Yeah, they fired him today.
Okay, so that's the one I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about then. Yeah, whatever. As long as they pick the GM before they pick the head coach, it will not be that stupid fuck Deion Sanders. Fair. He needs to go to an SEC. He needs to go to a Power 5, conference before he does that bullshit.
I'm not
Power 4. I'm sorry. He fucking sucks.
Regardless,
how good the Buffs are against terrible teams. Oh, they're amazing. Shedeur.
I think I'm gonna have to duck out for the night. My toddler is still being restless. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good night.
Go over to Unstable, like, share, subscribe.
Fuck the Colts.
Yeah.
Fuck the Colts. Get out of here.
Hey, victory week, baby. See y'all later.
It's a first for everybody.
I know, right?
Colts play the Lions next week. Do you think they're gonna put belt to ass like they did to the Jags?
I think so.
I think there's a really strong possibility.
I think they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. We'll pivot to the Texans game. This game went about as expected. As far as predictions go, I went crazy with it. 47-7 was my prediction. Jeff said 27-13, and Trevor 28-14. All of us choosing Houston to win. This is a bad Cowboys team. And when you play bad teams, especially this part in the year, they're down their starting quarterback. They have scrubs at running back or washed dudes at running back. You just don't want to let bad teams do good things to you. You want to make the bad teams look bad. You don't want them to get you with the trap game atmosphere, which did not happen. The Texans at no point, in my opinion, really were on the ropes in this game. There was a little bit of some continuity and offense that happened in the second quarter. But after that, the Cowboys could move the ball a little bit, but it wasn't great. Cooper Rush threw the ball over 55 times or over 50 times, 358 yards, but there were about 7 dropped interceptions. So those numbers could have looked very different. The offensive line for the Cowboys got dog walked all night. 5 sacks, 64 yards rushing, and over half of that came from the tandem of Cooper Rush and CeeDee Lamb. The running backs were, again, this is something they came into the season or into this game not being able to do very well, run the ball. They did not get going against us. The game script was pretty simple. Make Cooper Rush try to beat you, knowing that he can't. And we were able to do all of the things that we needed to do to beat this very, very bad Cowboys team. With that being said, a lot of shit to work on. A very sloppy game for winning by 24 points. CJ Stroud missed a couple open throws. The interception he threw was really gross. The offensive line took a step forward in one aspect. There was one sack of CJ Stroud all evening and another separate QB hit, none of which were Micah Parsons, who was silenced all game between Laramie and Titus. There was a couple moments where CJ Stroud's pocket awareness reminded me of Ultra Instinct Goku. It's not that he was literally just, head and shoulders better than whatever was happening, but there was I think it was a linebacker came blitzing free directly up the middle. He just didn't even look at him and just slid forward a little bit. Homie just walked right by. It was something that we were not seeing earlier in the year, and you can tell that they've been working on that with him in practice as far as like, okay, the pressure's coming from here, where do you step, kind of thing. And it's paying off, and it's helping the offensive line look a lot better. Yet again, Joe Mixon is essentially the offense, and CJ Stroud didn't play his worst game all year, but there was, again, things to be improved. Nico Collins, first play of the game, gets a little dump off pass and takes it to the house, only to have it called back by a flag on Laramie Tunsil for an ineligible man downfield, which is just one of those kind of bonehead plays where it's just like, I don't think I've ever been called for that flag since I was like, I don't know, in the 6th grade playing like Parks League football. Yeah, Tunsil takes a TD off the board. That's a normal occurrence. There was at least 2 or 3 touchdowns last night called back for various reasons. This game could have been a lot worse for the Cowboys. There were no major injuries for the Texans, but you did see a very pronounced hole opposite Derek Stingley. There is no corner on this team outside of Kamari Lassiter who can play outside corner. Jeff Okudah got absolutely torched.
Yeah, absolutely torched.
Kadar Holman is special teams at best.
The worst part is that he got torched by fucking a return specialist. Like Kavontae Turpin probably has scored like 3 touchdowns in his career, not on kick returns.
Yeah. It was just, it was a perfect route for him. It was just 3 steps and then cut across the middle and just be faster than everybody. And Jeff Okudah, who had to that point, I think collectively in all the games that he played 10 snaps. So
they called him up off the practice squad before the game, didn't they?
No, he was activated off of IR.
Oh, I heard he was on. I thought somebody said he was on the practice squad.
No, he activated off IR because he played 3 snaps the first game, and then got hurt, and we never saw him again. And then everybody was like, "Where the hell's Jeff Okudah at?" And he was activated off IR. We did elevate. We elevated Tommy Togliai, I think is his name, the defensive tackle from the practice squad. And we've brought in and cut and brought back and cut Desmond King innumerable times, but there must be something wrong with him to not throw him out there versus these other guys who are very clearly not it. And this is probably the only time I've ever seen a football team where your entire secondary the depth is in the safety room. So
Yeah.
like Jalen Petrie basically plays slot. You got Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter, and then nobody's behind them. And then your safety room with Petrie is Petrie, Kalen Bullock, Eric Murray, Jimmy Ward, and MJ Stewart. those guys get a healthy rotation on the field. When Jimmy Ward's not in, it looks a lot different, and we have to rely a lot more on 23 to make plays, and that's not a position we want to be in. So we have an opportunity with the next couple games to potentially get the offense on track. We will see how that actually takes the shape. But, this wasn't the return game for Nico Collins that we all thought it might be. And, this offseason we were sold this magic offense that's got all these weapons and is going to be able to electrify the scoreboard. However, we have not seen that much. And we've not really seen it click at any point yet this season. And we may not. There might be just too many issues on the offensive line for that to happen. Too many injuries, whatever. But this is a Texans team whose ceiling, in my opinion, is a divisional round. And that's pretty much it. So, with that being said, what were your thoughts on this Cowboys and Texans game?
I really didn't get to watch much of it, so I don't really have too much to say. I think the Texans, I don't know, CJ Stroud just he has some moments still where he's flashing, but he just has not looked as complete this season. I don't know if he doesn't trust the O-line. I mean, the O-line's been bad, but I don't know if he just doesn't trust it at all this season. I don't know if he's maybe dealing with something we don't know about, but definitely just does not seem like the same guy we saw last year. I think teams have figured him out a little bit more, in how the Texans offense worked last year versus this year. I don't know that that's necessarily the entire reason, but that definitely doesn't help. But no. Yeah, it's been an interesting season, kind of seeing CJ Stroud in his sophomore year, in other words. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. But I really didn't get to watch much of the game. Cowboys suck. I knew you guys were going to handle that game just fine, and especially without Dakota Prescott there to throw 8 touchdowns against bad teams and 1 touchdown against good teams, which so meaning he probably would have done 1 against you guys, just like Cooper Rush did. Yeah, I mean, not too much to say. They suck. Yeah. Even Brandon Aubrey fucking missed a field goal. He's damn good.
Yeah. Up until that point, that was the first field goal he's missed in AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, it's probably a draft being let in from those 2 fucking roof panels that fell down.
Jerry World, it's falling to pieces.
Oh, man. It's like you ever seen the what's that fucking movie? It's like a kid's toy store, and the guy buys a pair of shoes for every year of his life, and he's on his last pair of shoes, and the toy store starts dying because he's dying. You know what I'm talking about?
No, what is that?
It's like a. Anyways, that's basically what's going on. The stadium's dying because Jerry's dying, and they need a new Jones to infuse life into it. Yeah.
Very well possible. So with all of that, we've covered the AFC South Week 11 games.
Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It had what's her face in it? Natalie Portman.
Yeah, was the guy Mr. Megorium? Was that Dustin Hoffman?
That was Dustin Hoffman. Yep.
Okay, I remember the movie now, but just
Jason Bateman was in it. And yeah.
So week 12, the Jags are on a bye week.
Woo!
That's going to be well resting, well needed. Houston is home against Tennessee. That should be an easy dub. The Colts are playing Detroit. And, of course, the Titans are playing Houston. So, who has the most difficult matchup? Colts, Lions.
Jaguars with the bye week. They have to be alone with their thoughts. That's scary.
Yeah. That sounds like a scary proposition for both the Jaguars and a pimp. You don't ever want to be alone with your thoughts if you're a pimp. So, all right, I think that's pretty much it. I think we're at a good spot to go ahead and wrap this sucker up. But do you have any closing comments, Isaiah?
We suck. that's about it. That pretty much sums up the season so far.
It does, honestly. Yeah, this has kind of been an underwhelming season for the whole division. Just not a good. Not good. Are you noticing it like I am that it's kind of like defense heavy this season? Like
The whole league?
Yeah. It's like
I mean, I will say that as of the beginning of the year, it like with I think the first week one had like the least passing touchdowns in like 20 years or something like that.
Least passing yards and the most rushing yards since like 1985.
Yeah, I think that what we're seeing is like the NFL does this all the time. They go through ebbs and flows of passing and running. I think we're at the peak of undersized linebackers and like undersized linebackers to take away passing. And then like now, that's why Derrick Henry can be so successful at his age. Josh Jacobs is having a great year. A lot of these running backs are having really good years. And so I think we're seeing that where like teams are like, we're in the peak era of undersized linebackers, and now teams are reverting back to more of the power running game. And that's why guys like Tank Bigsby are playing so well, like guys who can just go north and south between the tackles and not worry about all the frills and doing shit in space. But I don't know. It's kind of a tough one to say, but I think that's kind of what we're seeing now. There are definitely some linebackers coming out and some D linemen that are like insanely athletic, big guys. Like even them, they're not really in pass coverage too much. But I think that's my take on it. I think we've been kind of coming to this realization. I think that kind of the Telvin Smith, Miles Jack era in Jacksonville in 2017 kind of started to fuel this a little bit, where teams were getting these smaller guys. I think Telvin Smith was like 220, 225 at outside linebacker. Yeah, that's just my take. I don't know that it's necessarily defenses being better. I just think it's defenses being lighter and faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot less electricity when it comes to like these games. The scoring is lower. As I pulled up to Gremlin's comment over here, a lot of teams are winning with only field goals this year.
Yeah, that's true.
The Steelers beat the Ravens with 6 field goals.
Yep. That was like the second time this year there's been like 4 or 5 field goals in a game that have won.
There was a Giants Commanders game that was like 15-12 only field goals. So, I mean, he's not wrong. That is accurate. I think that between the defensive talent, like you were saying, the size and the speed and the athleticism, the athleticism went up and the size went down. But I also think that defensive coordinators are getting better at scheming against younger, more mobile quarterbacks. And you're kind of seeing a lot of the electricity that we used to see from Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and all these other guys kind of die down a little bit. Now, Lamar's had a couple good games this year, but actually more than a couple, but Joe Burrow's had some really good games, but
I wish
it's just kind of been underwhelming from.
I wish I could get the numbers on it, but one thing I've noticed this year, and I'm glad you bring up the defensive coordinator takes. I wasn't even thinking about this until you said that. I think that this is probably the highest percentage rate of stunts I've seen in years. Like every play, there's overly complex stunts where, like in the Jaguars game against the Lions, or maybe the week before, like they're rushing a dude up to the line to make it look like he's going, and then he's like coming up linebacker, immediate dart for the left tackle or right tackle's inside shoulder, and like basically tackling the tackle, and then that end's able to just come through and sweep in. Like I've seen a lot of very complex stunts this year that I have not seen as many of, and I feel like they're just trying to confuse linemen. I feel like linemen have gotten a little soft as well, not being used to so many stunts run. I mean, we've had a couple of years of people just basically straight up trying to beat you one-on-one. And I think that's part of the reason we're seeing teams like Jacksonville and other teams not play as well on defense, is that I think we blitzed an average of 12% against the Lions for the entire game. Like we're the lowest in the league, or one of the lowest. Like all the teams that are the lowest percentage rates for blitzing in the league are the worst defenses, and they're all doing terrible. I think coordinators are really dialing it up this year and bringing home some very complex schemes and stunts that are really confusing quarterbacks out there.
It's true. I mean, and you take a look at one of the better defenses this year, the Brian Flores-led Vikings team.
Mm-hmm.
They blitz, I think it's like 57% of
Dude,
the
they're
time.
fucking people up with those stunts. That's the main reason that defense is so damn good.
Yeah. And what was smart is other teams have seen the success of what Minnesota's doing, and they're doing it now too. I've seen the Packers doing it. I've seen, actually, I guess just a lot of NFC North teams doing it, but it might be just observational bias because that's what I'm looking at. But I see a lot more, 6, 7 dudes lined up at the line of scrimmage, 2 drop out. Van Ginkel's got 2 pick sixes off of that shit for them. So, I mean, it's a very, very effective defensive scheme. And maybe instead of the last decade and a half where it seems that, defensive minds are struggling to figure out how to stop the offense, the script might be flipped. And now it's the offensive mind's turn to figure out how to get one over on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, with rare exception this season, that's not been very well done, especially with Bobby Slowik. But good spot to go ahead and wrap this up. Isaiah, thank you for taking time out of your evening to come on and talk about your glitter kitties and talk about my T-bone steaks, the Pony Boys, and the two-tone blue titty babies. So
yeah, sorry to all my fans that I won't be on the show as much. Trevor will treat you guys good, but it's just unfortunate. New shift. Hopefully we can make it work, but if not, he's a good guy too. Eric will help out every once in a while. Thanks everybody for still coming out and watching.
Damn Skippy. Hit the like, subscribe button, folks. We're trying to grow the channel. We're at 540 at the time of this live stream, and I'd like to see that number keep climbing. No matter what platform you're watching us on, Twitter, X, whatever, Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, follow us, whatever the option is. Help us grow. And most of all, be good people. And it was never the Titans.
Fuck the Colts.
Fuck the Colts.